back to my channel. I've always wanted to say that, I guess. My name is Angela. We are studying for the big exam, the Board Certified Behavior Analyst exam. We are using the task list, the BCBA task list, to help us study, and we're on section A2. A2, we have to explain the philosophical assumptions underlying science of behavior analysis, which is Selectionism, Determinism, Empiricism, Parsimony, and Pragmatism. We're going to talk about each one of those today. Let's go ahead and get into the first one, which is Determinism. Determinism is what science is based on. Determinism says that the world is orderly, is predictable, is lawful, and it's where everything has a cause and effect. An if-then situation. If this happened, then this will happen. So that is determinism. Think orderly, think predictable, think lawful. Okay. The next one is empiricism. Empiricism is upon what knowledge is built. Is what we build our knowledge on. It's the act of objective observation and measurement. That is empiricism. When we start to observe and start to measure what we see, then that is empiricism. It's data-based scientific approaches when we do empiricism work. We're collecting data for scientific purposes, right? This data is evidence-based. This data it leads to facts. So we think about it this way. Empiricism equals evidence. Evidence equals data. Data equals facts. Empiricism. Empiricism equals evidence. Evidence equals data. Data equals facts. Next is parsimony. So before we come up with some complicated explanation of why things are the way that it is or why it happened, we first want to rule out the simplest, most logical explanation, and that is what parsimony means. It means that we look for the most simplest explanation for why something is behaving the way that it is. Right? And then the next one is pragmatism. Pragmatism asks more of the deep questions of why something is acting the way that it is. So it's more so looking at the behavior from a inquisitive mindset. It's really taking the information that we see and that the measurements that we have, and now we are trying to approach the problem to find out the process of verification. We're trying to verify what we are observing. Charles Peirce and William James has a philosophy that says that pragmatism asks how things come to be as they are and how we can alter them. Okay, so how things came to be as they are and how we can alter them. So when we're thinking of pragmatism, we're thinking of questioning what it is that we are observing. In Bayer, Wolf, and Riesling, 1968, they say pragmatism and behaviorism go together. They look at it like this. At the level of behavior, the relation between setting A and the behavior B is because of consequence C. So it's really still questioning how this situation relate to each other. The setting, the behavior, and the consequence, how it all relates. All right. And then we have selectionism. If we take a look at selectionism, we also think about evolution, because evolution is the product of functional selection. Well, it's the belief that everything that evolved does so due to a consequence of a behavior. So the behaviors that result in positive consequence, then that tends to be selected more often. And hence the point of evolution, where positive consequences tend to stay longer than negative consequences, right? Who wants to have a negative consequence, right? So when we're looking at philosophical assumptions, we also have to take into consideration experimentation. which is also called experimental analysis. And we also have to take into consideration functional analysis and philosophical doubt. So let's talk about experimentation. Experimentation is the basic strategy of science, right? To experiment with it. It's to take the dependent variable and put it underneath conditions of the independent variable, usually 2 or more conditions, to be able to come up with some type of hypothesis. And this hypothesis is the functional analysis of what we've observed, what we've tested. And if it can be replicated, that means that you repeat those experiments over and over again, then the experiment has value if you can do that. But if you only do it one time, it may have some value, but not enough value. So that's why it has to be replicated over and over again for it to have true value. Also, repetition leads to discovering like the mistakes. It leads to making correction in the operation. So replication is super important. And then you have philosophical doubt. Philosophical doubt is basically having a healthy skepticism about what it is that you hear, even what it is that you are observing, to be able to question it from an inquisitive mindset versus just taking what you hear and just accepting what you hear. You're actually taking it in and then you're questioning it in a way that is healthy for you to be able to just being open to what could be wrong, right? Instead of just saying, oh, this is what they said will happen, and then I just believe it. Well, now I just want to question it and just kind of like, let me see. So philosophical doubt is more so like, let me check it out. Let me see for myself. All right. So that is section A2 of the task list. Continue to follow me for more because we're going to pass this exam. Yeah. Let's go. Have an amazing day.